W2SDR.
W3. Oops. W3MMR. W3MMR. W3MMR.
W2SDR. Whoops, I'm on the wrong profile. Hold on.
Yes, you are.
Okay, it's should be better. W2SDR. What's happening there?
Not much. Just watching a movie. Forget the name of it already. It's on Amazon Prime. It's one of the new ones. It was actually like the first one on there. With Nicolas Cage, and it's like a cop in Alaska hunting for a serial killer. I fell asleep halfway through, and I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, it must be riveting if you fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty cool. I want to watch it again so I don't fall asleep, but yeah. Let me figure out what the name of it is. The Frozen Ground is the name of it. Yeah, The Frozen Ground. It's pretty cool. John Cusack's in it too. Nicolas Cage and John Cusack. Something you probably like. But I fell asleep probably before any of the real good parts. What are you up to? What's going on over on the clean side?
Well, I watched the end of this cat show documentary that was on Netflix. Watched the rest of that. And then there's another show on Netflix I was watching. I was halfway through it about a week ago, and I started watching it again, but then you texted me, so I came down here. Going to have to get my radio computer, laptop, and update the database. User database in this 800D down here, because I saw a guy on there just as DMR ID and no name, so it's about time I do that anyway on that one. So I'll do that later, and debate whether I want to wash my car tonight or something when it gets the sun goes down a little bit. That sun's beating down on that thing. It dries before I get shabby it, man, and get water spots. So either got to do it in the morning or when the sun starts going down, you know?
Oh, yeah, no, I know. Especially, it says it's 93 out here. I haven't moved the thermometer, the temperature probe, so I'm not sure how accurate it is. Well, it says it's 90 here on my phone, so it's probably pretty close. No, yeah, especially with a dark colored car like that, it'll really dry fast, you know. And you get all those water spots, and it's a pain in the butt. You know, like, you remember them things, they used to market, you put it on the end of the hose, and it's supposed to take all the minerals out of the water, and, so you don't get water spots. Man, none of that stuff ever worked. You know, no matter what, you end up getting water spots. You know? So, yeah, it's cool, man. Give the car a call. I'll talk to my boss. Just text him and let him know that I went up there today, and you know, like I told him I didn't want him to think I didn't show up or something. When he comes in tomorrow, my stuff's not there, in case the other guy didn't tell him or anything. Anyway, I just wanted to text him, and he was all like apologetic and felt real bad. So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think it's gonna be good. Plus, it'll get me out of the house and, you know, get me moving, and so on and so forth. So I'm looking forward to a cat documentary. Oh, come on, man, homo. What's it? I mean, maybe if it's like, like Fight Club for cats or something like that. It wasn't like a cat show, was it? Where they're like prancing around with cats on leashes.
Well, that's not what cat shows are about. They don't have leashes like dogs. It's not like a dog show. Yeah, it was a documentary about cat shows. It was pretty gay, but people were telling me about it at the animal shelter, so I watched it. In your transmit profile, what's your carrier level? Do you have it set at 100 or below?
It's at 90.
Yeah, that's what I figure is a little... Well, you have to be careful with that. I've experimented a lot with that, and I ended up running... I mean, you can do what you want, obviously, but I ended up running at 100. When people listen... When I listen to people that... it makes the audio smoother if people don't have a synchronous detector. I mean, synchronous detector, you could stand a lot of that, but without a synchronous detector, especially when there's QSB, when you have that selective fading, it gets pretty distorted when there's fading, and running at 100 really calms that effect down somewhat.
Okay, well, let's I'll readjust my carrier there. All right, we'll run it here for a little while. Run it here for the duration. See how we like it. Yeah, I think I've always had it at 90. Maybe I think I remember us having this discussion before about the carrier level. Maybe not about this for this specific reason, but I think it might have been for easier listening, and but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, we'll keep it here on 100 and see if there's any improvement. It's yay. 1 2 test 1 2. Yeah, still doing about 113 to 115% positive. Yeah, on 90 it gets up to like 125. So I could see maybe with someone who doesn't have a synchronous detector, it might be on the verge there,
Well, we've talked about this before. The positive peaks add distortion. If the positive peaks are greater, appreciably greater than the negative, it will add distortion. There's no question about that. And see, synchronous detection is a lot like single sideband in a receiver. Okay, and you can select what it's only listening to one sideband at a time. And you can select that in the menus of the Anand, what you listen to on synchronous. And I saw fading on your signal then, but I didn't hear any distortion in your signal during the fades. And it's cleaner at 100. Now I'll lower mine to 90, and you put your radio on AM, not synchronous. Let me get down to 90. Here, see that whole positive peaks thing, shooting them way up is kind of left over from the CB type thing. See, now I'm on 90. 90, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll notice probably on the peaks, on the fading and stuff like that on AM during the valleys and thing, you'll notice you can hear it. You can hear a little bit of a phase distortion during the ebbs and flows of the QSB. Over.
Right. Well, there wasn't that much QSB that go around. Well, just keep it where it's at for a little bit because I'm interested to hear it. But I heard it a little bit, and already a noticeable difference in just like 2 fades. So, and like you said, it was on your peaks. It was on a peak, you know. Yes, and I do remember us talking before about, how basically that much asymmetry can cause, distortion. Well, any asymmetry is distortion, number one, but a certain, over a certain amount can really become noticeable. So I'd be interested to keep hearing it. So, but I didn't hear. It's not like I heard any difference in how loud you are. It's not like when you put it to 90, and brought up your peaks. It's not like, oh wow, man, you really brought the audio up. It wasn't. I honestly couldn't even tell a difference.
Whiskey 3.
Well, that's part of my point. Having that much increase in asymmetry is not making you any louder. It's just causing distortion on fades. So you're really not gaining anything by dropping that down. So all the all the preoccupation with positive peaks is really it's not a good thing. It's really not the right way to go on good quality AM on the ham bands. And see, the Orban and those real expensive AM processors, they have phase rotators in. What a phase rotator will do is get rid of the asymmetry. And, over the years, they've discovered that that's not a good thing to have. If you want to be screaming loud and all that, I mean, that's one thing. But, for high quality audio, so, like I have it on a 90 now. Now, you probably, maybe on some of the fades, the more QSB there is, the worse it is. Now, we might not have that much QSB between us at the time. Now, I'm going to go back up to my normal setting here of 100, which would be no asymmetry or no additional asymmetry. Now I'm back on 100. And of course, I'm running more carrier now because of the more resting when I'm not talking. But now it's back to 100 where I normally run it. And I heard a W3, but I didn't hear any other part of that someone's call there. So back to you, Perry. W3MMR, W2SDR.
Whiskey 3 Alpha Echo Mike.
Yeah, W3AEM. W3MMR, good evening. You're right across the way from here over in Wallingford. Good evening, Daryl. W3AEM, I'll pick it up. W3MMR.
Yeah, very good, Perry. I think we've had emails and things about noise before. Is that right? Over.
That is correct. How goes it?
It's going well. I just got tired of contesting and thought I'd swing up here to 80 and see if anybody was here, and saw the boom in AM signals, and thought I'd join in. I don't talk much on AM and don't know how this sounds, but looks like I'm putting at about 400 watts here, so let me know how it sounds. I was adjusting my carrier level as I was hearing the discussion there. Over.
Oh, you sound good. That's for sure. Obviously, very big signal because we're so close, but yeah, you sound real good. Be interested to know what kind of rig you're on there, and after you're done, you can go ahead and turn it over to that's my father over there, W2SDR, Sierra Delta Romeo, over in Homer, New Jersey. So back over to you, Daryl. W3AEM, W3MMR.
Yeah, very good, Perry. Running a Kenwood 590 SG here. Meritron 606 solid state amp, and got a 80 through 10 meter end-fed wire with the transformer up about 40 feet on a mast and out into a tree, 133 foot long wire out into a tree up at 60 feet or so. So that's the conditions here, and I think it was W3SDR. You just jump in there. I just playing with AM here, and had a conversation with Perry a month or two ago about noise, and I use a mag loop, and you guys sound fantastic on the mag loop here. Over.
Yeah, okay. Daryl, good evening. Well, I'll tell you, with that 1306, I would never run 400 watts of carrier with that. Are you talking 400 peak or carrier? Because I wouldn't run much more than 100 to 150 watts of carrier with that amplifier. Over.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I had it down on 20 before. Let me turn it down and see how that affects things here. Let me turn it down.
Because when you modulate 100%, okay, it's about 4 times the carrier level. So there's no way that amp will operate at 15 to 1600 watts for very long. Running that kind of a carrier. And I think if you looked in the owner's manual, it would probably say somewhere around 100 to 150 watts of carrier for AM operation.
All right, this is a carrier level of 20. Is there any difference there?
Well, I thought you said 400. It's not 20 in the radio. It's 20. It's 100 to 150 watts of carrier out of the amplifier.
Okay, gotcha. I'm mixed up. On AM, this rig only puts out 20 watts, so my carrier level is at 20 now. It was at 100 before, so I don't see on my vector, watt meter here that there's any difference in the total watts out from the amp, which is under 400 watts total watts out.
So what does it say when you're not talking? What are you vector? Is that a watt meter?
Yeah, I'm putting out 100 watt carrier, it looks like.
Okay, 100 watts of carrier is fine for that amplifier. It'll do that all day long. 400 watts of carrier out of that amplifier is not a good idea. But anyway, yeah, I used to have a 590. That's a nice radio. And it's a nice radio. It's a nice amplifier. Do you find those fans a bit on the noisy side in your amp? Over.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, I've got it kind of in a, I've got a box built around most of my rig gear here on the desk. So the fans are sort of back in that. Maybe that helps a little bit. I don't hear the fans on the power supply at all because those are under, kind of about 6 feet away. But the linear itself, I don't find the fans to be too loud for me at all. Over.
Yeah, that's great because I don't hear them. I've heard some people complain about the fans. Well, I don't know what they're complaining about because I don't even hear yours at all. It's nice to meet you, Daryl. I used to live in Upland in Delaware County for many, many years. I'm in Salem County, New Jersey now, between Elmer and Woodstown. And Perry's my son. Over to you, Perry. W2SDR in the group.
Yeah, W2SDR in the group, W3MMR. Yeah, real good, Daryl. You sound great. That's for sure. Good-looking shack. I'm on an SDR myself. I'm on an Apache Labs Anon 200D this evening, running an AL80B amplifier at about 150 watts of carrier, and just using the internal processing. It comes with the Power SDR software. And Shure SM7 B microphone, and running a half-wave inverted V cut for 3885. It's only up about, I guess the apex is about maybe 40 feet. Seems to do the job though. I never. Put it this way, I can really I could talk to everyone I could hear. So I guess that's really all that matters. We've spoken via email about the noise in this area. So you know all about that. My noise level here is about an S8 to an S9, sometimes greater, at all times here on 80 meters. And I have a G5 RV up about at the same height for the upper bands. But I used to use here on 80 meters, and it worked fairly well. It wasn't that big of a difference when I switched to the half-wave, for the half-wave wires. So to the half-wave wire, excuse me. So. The G5 RV isn't anything to shake a stick at, that's for sure. But as far as the noise goes, I haven't really, messed around with I was messing around with the diversity reception in the Anon before, and it's kind of finicky, and I kind of just deal with it, at this point, because most of the time the signals are so strong here in the evenings. That 95% of everyone I talk to gets over it, and that's even guys running 25 rounds of carrier all the way up in New England can get over it in the evening. So it's really fallen down on the priority list to try to improve the noise. And plus, I really don't think there's that much I can do about it. Especially to make a substantial improvement. So, back on you, Daryl. W3AEM in the group.
Yeah, W3AEM. Well, I took a couple of screenshots while you were talking there, one with the receive antenna and one with the in-fed. So I'll shoot those over to you. And I don't know if you're able to record audio pretty easily with your Anon there. Are you able to do that? Maybe email me that. I'd like to be able to hear. I've had one person email me an audio sample, and we're so close that this is probably the best case scenario. I know, but I'd just like to hear what it sounds like on the other end.
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely. I'll go ahead and make another transmission here, and I'll make a recording for you, and I'll email it right over to you.
All right, very good. I appreciate that. Like I said, I'll send you those screenshots as well. It's actually when I flipped over to the regular, to the in-fed, the noise is actually not bad right now. At least where I am, which is a few miles away from where you are. But you can still see some electrical noise come up. And then when I switch over to the the active mag loop receive, it just all that electrical noise goes away, and it's just clear signal. So yeah, I know we talked about that, but when it's stormy, or when, I don't know, people got all their plasma TVs on or whatever in the area, I mean, it can just wipe out everything. So yeah, it can be rough there. Carry over.
All right, we'll go ahead and I'll get this converted over here in a minute and email it over to you. Yeah, you're 40 to 45 over, so this is probably the best over-the-air recording or idea of exactly what you're putting out that you're gonna hear. So big signaling. You sound really good, especially if we're transmitting at a limited bandwidth, because I'm receiving at plus or minus 5 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz total receive bandwidth, and you appear to be transmitting, I guess, around 5 or 6 kilohertz total. So you'll definitely be able to hear the full effect. And get everything in the receive pass band there. So we'll get it converted over here in a minute, as soon as we're done with the QSO here. But anyway, Yeah, the noise hasn't been too bad here. Like I said, it's like an S9 on average here generally. Sometimes I get this really loud buzz. It's been intermittent, and I haven't got it in a while. I've been fortunate, and my neighbor's house down on the AM broadcast band, and on 160 meters it puts out some hellacious noise. I don't know what it is, but I've narrowed it down to my neighbor's house right across the yard from me. But I think it's a combination of everything around here. You know, just living in this area and all the different noise sources that are so close to here, I don't really think there's too much that I could do specifically here, unless I have something maybe like a mag loop like you have, so on and so forth. But there's different ways to, skin a cat, but I think for now I just kind of got fed up with messing with it and kind of left well enough alone. So over to you, Pop. You're pretty fortunate over there with your noise level, but you living over here for as long as you've been in this area, you know all about it. W2SDR in a group, W3MMR.
Daryl, is that a pixel loop?
Yeah, Roger.
Yeah, I have one of them. I don't use it at the present time. It's still out there. I got a rotor and stuff. Now, with the noise, do you point that at the noise? Do you null the noise out with that? Is that the point of? Is that why you use that?
I have mine on a rotor too, but I end up not using it because I only really need it on 40 and 80, mostly on 80, and I don't do a lot on 80. I don't know why, probably just because I'm kind of more into DX, but I leave it pretty much where it nulls out. The noise that comes at me whenever it's on comes at me from, I guess it would be sort of northeast of here, so probably looking maybe toward southern New Jersey. It comes from there because when I rotate the loop and other, it's at its maximum null there, and it's impressive what it does to the noise. I mean, of course, it cuts the signals down a little bit too, but when you're hearing nothing and you can go to hearing and making QSOs, then that it does what it's supposed to do. But I probably use it for receive 10% of the time overall. Over.
Yeah, signal-to-noise ratio is the whole key. I noticed with mine, like broadcast band, I mean, my God, you could knock down 20, 30 over signals down to practically nothing. But it's ineffective on skywave. In other words, thunderstorm, static, all that kind of stuff. It really has very little, if any, directivity. Over.
Yeah, Roger. I think especially the directivity when it comes to like DX is way overhyped by the people that sell these, whatever form they come in. For me, the directivity, I don't know, probably a third of just the effect of using the loop at all when I have that electrical noise that picks up. But I would say it suppresses static from thunderstorms, but it will not overcome it at all. It's really just the QRM that it does help me with. Over.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I think that loop, he's got the same loop that I have in the backyard, Perry. That would probably, if you knew what direction that noise that you get is coming from, that would really null out your noise. That might be worth a try over there, but if it's coming from 5 and 6 different directions, that's going to be tough. But if it's coming from one direction,
whatever that noise is,
what you would do with that loop is put it in RX2, put it in that antenna jack on the back of that anon, and you will listen on RX2 instead of RX1 when you want to use the loop. Perry, go ahead.
Amplified by whatever is here in the area. I can't hear anything in that band of noise that is in those screenshots I just sent him. And then, of course, I'll have general noise on the whole band where it's hard, but specifically right where we are is very hard to copy when that noise is at its max. And it is not at its max right now, but I am listening to you all on the receive loop because it is so much better. Whiskey 3 Alpha Echo Mike.
Oh, I think I double with you. Go ahead, Perry.
Yeah, W3AEM, W3MMR. Yeah, that was a double, but I was able to hear what you said there, Pop. And a little bit of what you said there, Mike. I just got your email, and I actually just sent you over the recording as well. I have a new email address that I pretty much just dedicate to the radio stuff. So that's, if you don't recognize it, that's why. Now, I remember before I was having an issue with the diversity reception because I would basically, since with the way the Anon is set up, I had it connected to RX2, but every time I would transmit, it would overload my receiver. Do you remember that, Pop? And I would basically have to disconnect the antenna, the diversity antenna, every time when I would transmit. Now, I don't know if you found a workaround for that since the last time it was brought up, but I do remember that. Pop, go ahead.
Well, yeah. There is a way around that, but the loop has got it disconnects the preamp. You hook the loop up in your amplifier line, and what it does is disconnect the preamp and short out the input to the loop when you key your microphone.
Okay, I gotcha. Makes sense. Okay, so yeah, that would be entirely different. Okay. Well, that would be interesting, because like I was saying, that one noise, the one that really loud one down on the broadcast band, which is, and the one on 160 meters, I think if I was able to null that one out, it would help a lot up here, because it's not that I specifically hear that same noise up here, but it's similar, you know. It's just because my noise floor is so high, but in that noise floor, I can kind of hear that distinct noise that I hear on the broadcast band. So what I'm thinking and what I'm hoping is that I would be able to, that one noise is affecting me up here, and I'm sure that being able, to utilize a mag loop and being able to rotate it and point it in different directions, I would hopefully be able to find noise sources a little easier, and I'm sure it will work a heck of a lot better than the diversity antenna that I was using, which was just 200 feet of wire that I soldered into a PL259 to the center conductor of a PL259. So I'm sure it will work a heck of a lot better than that. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up these screenshots too, Daryl. But yeah, maybe in some time here, hopefully not. Hopefully soon, maybe I can try something like that out, and I can bounce some ideas off of you two who have experience with the mag loops, to help me out a little bit with that. So, well, good deal. Back over to you, Daryl. W3AEM in the group W3MMR.
Yeah, very good. That'd be fine. I was just looking at those screenshots I sent again there. And you can see the overall noise floor is down about 2 S units, and then the noise that sort of surrounds this signal is completely gone on the mag loop. Right now, it does not overwhelm the signal if I listen with the end-fed wire, but when it's really bad, it does overwhelm everything in that area there around this frequency, and just up above this frequency a little bit there. You'll see on the screenshot how wide that is. Looks like it's probably I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know how wide it is. I can't look in real quick and see how many kZs it is, but it's wide there. Over.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah, I'm looking at the screenshots now. Well, yeah, the signal-to-noise ratio is much better. The noise floor is much lower, and that noise is like right in the AM window, and it appears to be 30 or 40 kilohertz wide from I'm just looking at basically the thumbnail. So my computer's being slow right now for some reason, and it won't open up all the way. But yeah, I mean, gosh, that makes a heck of a difference. And if I can make that kind of difference here, I mean, I would be very, very happy. Oh Lord, guys! I forwarded the email to you too, so you should be getting it. Soon. Let me know if you got it, because this email program's being funky right now. I don't know why. So it should have sent. But yeah, so yeah, sorry, I can't do two things at once, Darryl. So yeah, if I could get the noise floor definitely lower, or as low or lowered as much as you did, that would be phenomenal. Over to you, Pop. W2SDR in a group, W3MMR.
No, just doing something here. Well, there's only one way you could test that loop, and that's to have one with a rotor. They're expensive, man. I spent a few $100 for this thing, and like I don't use it for a couple of different reasons. Number one, I don't have any noise, and I wanted it to be directional on signals, and it's not, except for the broadcast band. Or any signals that are within, like ground wave, like 0 to 100 miles. But anything skywave, the thing is, it doesn't make a difference which way you point it. So it kind of is not doing what I thought it might do. So that's why I really don't use it. And I sent you a recording of Perry for later. W2SDR.
Okay, well, thank you. I'll check that out here in a minute. I guess I see some static crashes starting to come in. I guess number one, the band's starting to get a little longer, and I guess we have some storms headed this way. Okay, well, I'll turn it back over to you, Don. And I'm going to sit back on the quiet side here for a little bit. Maybe get another refill on the mug of coffee here, and get ready for the pregame, the Phillies pregame show. So, great hearing you, man. It's definitely been a fun QSO, very informative. I appreciate all the info. I appreciate this podcast. You should enjoy the, I'll give you an idea, real good idea. W3AEM, W3MMR.
Yeah, W3AEM here. Well, good to talk to you, Perry, there, and also W2SDR. Good to talk with you as well. I know I saw your picture on Perry's tablet page some time ago, so I know you were who got him interested in radio, I think. So very good, and I'm actually going to hop out of here, guys, and just do a little relaxing this afternoon and evening, and good QSO, and I appreciate the recording, Perry. I'll listen to that as soon as I get off here, and I do appreciate you being able to send that to me. Yeah, sounds like it might be worth at least an experiment down there to see if it helps you out. But anyway, 7-3 to you both, and go Phillies, I guess. Whiskey 3 Alpha Echo Mike.
Okay, I don't know why these guys open up a QSO on 80. It's like they have to hear us here. So, I don't know. It's like Chuck started transmitting W3FJJ up there, and he's like bombing in here over top of you guys about 8 or 9 KC audio bandwidth. Anyway, so I just increased my audio bandwidth. Okay, I'll see you later, Darryl. And Perry, I'm gonna update this. I'm in the middle of updating this code part too, and I send you that recording, and see what you think there. So I hope you got it, and it's coming through okay. And yeah, if it wasn't so much trouble, I mean, you could try this loop out, but it's kind of a lot of trouble to set it up and rotor and point it and all the rest of that. They're running wires in and all, but I guess if it would work, but it would be nice if we had a directional thing that you can tell exactly where that noise is coming from. If it's coming from every direction, it's going to be, kind of a losing sort of battle there. W3MMR and Darryl Sign, W2SDR.
Yeah, W2SDR, W3MMR. Take care, Darryl. It's definitely a pleasure. I'm sure we'll talk to you again real soon, and enjoy the recording. And yeah, Pop, I just downloaded the recording. I'll take a listen to it after we're done here. Maybe I'll get some ambition there and take you up on the offer with the mag loop. Because I know it would be quite the feat, and it's kind of like banging a pole on the ground. And I have another tripod, I think, but another roof tripod, which I guess could work temporarily, but that's a lot of work to do temporarily. So I mean, you do have that handheld Yagi and the noise finder that we never ended up bringing over here, to try, and actually find, the noise was coming from. So maybe one day we could try that first, and then if we can, like you said, if we can find out exactly where it's coming from, and it's not coming from 360 degrees all around me, it might be worth trying out the mag loop and going through all that. So I could see you widened up and spread your elbows out a little bit there. Hopefully you're hearing me still okay. You're bombing in here, so I got no problem hearing you. W2SDR, W3MMR.
Yeah, W3MMR, W2SDR. Let me narrow this up a little bit. Yeah, I can hear you. I can pull the receiver over. I just thought that was a little close for government work, but that's okay. No big deal. And so you see what you think. I think you're like really super bright. I mean, you got so much sibilance in there. it was starting to get, sounds like fingernails on a blackboard. So, just my opinion. I mean, see what you think, but I think you may agree. And I first started it on 8 kilohertz bandwidth, then I went to 10. And I'm just putting the new database in the 800D here. I just put the United States in there. I'm not going to put all the foreign countries. I don't talk to anybody out of the U.S. on the DMR anyway, and if I do, I'll just ask them what their call is. So,
noise.
Guess I noticed one or two guys, the new guys, I guess.
What I'm thinking and what I'm hoping is
just their numbers showed up and no